Wow, this looks exactly like the other video I posted. You're so welcome. I am trying to knock out these videos while I have time. So, hi everybody. This is my Vienna recap. Yeah, so this one's gonna be a doozy. Okay, so Vienna. I did not like it. And I'll get into it a little bit later in the video, but I actually left early. I planned to stay in Vienna for 2 weeks, but I actually left a week early. So let's start from the beginning and I'll let you know about what led up to me leaving a week early. Like, I literally changed all of my plans, which I didn't want to do, but it's cool. So first thing, Vienna. It's a beautiful city. I will definitely say that. When I got in, I took the train in, so I came in through one of the train stations or whatever, not necessarily near the city center, but my first part, once I came in, got myself out of the train station, that was fine. I got in after it got dark, and I think it was like 6 or 7 o'clock, and for me, my rule that I've been giving myself is to just get the taxi and just to put my safety first. So if I get in after it's dark, and I mean like after 6 o'clock, then I need to take a taxi to my accommodation. Even if it's cheaper and safer and easier to use the metro or the bus, I'm not gonna navigate in a place that I don't know and I don't understand the language at night. That is silly rule. But my first night in, I don't do it. I first ordered an Uber because I looked it up and they do have Uber and they do have something called Bolt, which I think I mentioned in another video. And it's similar, it's like Lyft or whatever. So I looked on both apps to see which one was the cheapest. And I did Uber at first, but that one got canceled because the guy couldn't find me because he kept moving. It was terrible. He kept moving his car, and I'm just trying to go to where the taxis are. So that one got canceled, and I said, okay, maybe it's the app. So I used the Bolt app, and that one was fine. The guy found me perfectly fine. It was supposed to be a 10-minute ride to my accommodation, and after all of that, I finally got there. Finally figured out how to get into the apartment because everything's like all electronic and you need a passcode and you need a key fob. And it was hard for me trying to get in the door because the door didn't have a handle, it was a knob. And with the key fob, you have to like hold the key fob on there and it flashes until it flashes green, and then you have to like turn it 2 times and then open it. Mind you, I was tired. The train ride wasn't that good and I was hungry. So okay, whatever. I was done for. But I got in and it was all cool. I did not stay in the city center. I did what I did in London and I stayed out the way. So it was about an hour walk into the city center, or it was probably like a 20-minute drive. I didn't take a taxi anytime after that until I left because again, I just walked. I did use their metro system, which I really did enjoy too. The only thing is, you just have to really pay attention to the signs, because if you just if you follow everyone else out, you may not necessarily go in the right direction. But their underground transportation system is massive. Like, it's really good. It's really good. I felt really safe. The only thing is, when you do research about going to Vienna, or anywhere in Austria, I guess, but I guess I'm talking about Vienna. When you do that, anybody can basically just get on. Technically, you're not supposed to. You're supposed to get a ticket and validate it, because they'll have like undercover officers or like officers on the trains, and they'll like randomly check you. And if you don't, then you get like $100 fine or whatever. I never got randomly checked, but I did in fact see the officers there a few times on a few of the trains, and I didn't take the train system that much. I only did it when it was just getting really late or I was walking so much. Like, I only took the train system like 2 or 3, I think no more than 3 times total, and I was there for a week at least. So that was cool. I did it just because, you know, integrity or whatever. I ain't paying no money. I'm not dealing with that. I don't want to have to deal with that. And they really don't care if you're a tourist or not, if you don't speak their language or not. It doesn't matter to them. Like, you're gonna pay. You're not leaving until you pay. So that's just a little tip. Just make sure, you know, you either have the stuff on your phone. They have like an app or whatever that you could do, or you can get a ticket at the kiosk. There are no attendants. I did not see anybody down there at all, except like, you know, obviously people. So you have to go get your ticket from the kiosk. But again, there is a button for English. No, there wasn't. There wasn't a button for English. But I mean, those systems are all roughly the same. I basically figured out where I was supposed to go, or like, you know, click on the ticket one way. You can figure it out, you know, and if you can't, Google Translate will help you figure it out. So it was easy for me to navigate that, just because, again, it was either an hour to an hour and a half walk to where I wanted to go, or I was going to take the metro, and that would have been like 13 minutes. So I only did that a few times because you girl's trying to get her steps in, trying to be cute. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Touristy things. I did go to the city center. What else did I do in Vienna? I think I mostly did just free things. I honestly didn't do anything that required money. I didn't do any tourist groups. Yes, I did. Oh my gosh, guys. The only like touristy thing that I did was I booked a day trip to Hallstatt, and I hope I said that right. Hallstatt. I think there's an L in there somewhere. I don't know. You'll see the name. And there's a video on my day trip to that, which that was a very beautiful day. That place it's so tiny and so cute and so quaint and so small. I would never live there personally, just because it's so small, and it kind of like reminds me of like an eerie place where people are unalived. I read a lot of dark like thriller books, so that place looks like a setting in one of the books I've read. So yeah, but the only reason why I decided to book a tour is because that was a 3-hour ride one way. So that was 6 hours round trip, and I just didn't want to have to deal with transportation going back and forth to there. And when I was looking to book places like one way, I didn't really find too many options, and there was like one of them had to have a transfer, and I only would have had like literally 9 minutes to transfer to the next train. And I'm just like, babe, everything's in German. I need to give myself time. So I was like, okay, let's just spend the money, book the excursion, and it's fine. And quite frankly, I didn't spend that much more of money. Total cost of what I spent on the excursion is roughly the cost of what I would have spent if I would have did a day trip. And I met other solo travelers on there, so that was really cool. It was really nice to like talk to people. That was a really good time. And honestly, quite frankly, that was the highlight of Austria for me. Everything else wasn't necessarily boring. It was cool. I try to space things out to give myself time to see things and like go to museums and do things, because I would have had time, but it got cut short. Before I get into that, I will say Vienna apparently won like the most livable city like 15 times. And I guess, but like if you're more of a night owl, I did not find that city livable. Everything closed between 6 and 8 p.m. Nothing is open on Sundays, and that's great for some people, but as somebody who likes to be productive, and maybe I'm just a busybody, and I will definitely pick up that torch and be the busybody that I am, I didn't like it. I caught myself going downstairs to the grocery store because I was in an apartment building, and the grocery store was literally right under us. It was Lidl, or Lidl. It was Lidl, whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It was right underneath. It was closed, and it was 8 p.m. on like a Tuesday. And I'm just like, nothing opens until 10 or 11 a.m. here. And now you're telling me it closes at 8 p.m.? Ugh, it was so annoying. But I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I guess that was a sign. I didn't have to spend any money, whatever. Um, but yeah, so I mostly cooked. I didn't really eat out that much. I went to like a kebab place because I'm obsessed with kebab and I'm obsessed with Turkish food and I'm obsessed with the shaved meat. Yeah, I'm obsessed with it. It's fine. It's totally fine. I'm not gonna turn into a kebab or anything. But yeah, so I didn't really get to explore as much as I wanted to because of what happened in my apartment. So one day during the weekend, somebody opens my door.
What?
I know. It doesn't make sense, right? Yeah, so the same door that you can't open without a key fob, somebody opened it. And I like yelled or whatever, and they closed the door, and I was stunned and I was shocked because I'm like, how the hell did they open this door? And I'm like, I was just shocked because it just, not once in my entire experience so far or any of my solo traveling adventures that I have done to date have I ever truly felt unsafe. And that was the first time I was like, yeah, no. I was like upset at myself, and I know that doesn't make sense, but I was just like, this is not going according to plan. And like, this is the first time I'm actually dealing with the realization that I could just be unalived out here. And I know that doesn't make sense either, but like, I guess I really truly carried a certain level of delusion that I was just like, it's fine, everything's fine. And in that moment, it wasn't fine. And I was startled and I was a little afraid. And I was like, damn, well, gotta go. Immediately once it happened, I wait a few minutes. I grab my tripod stick because that's like the closest weapon I had. And I just kind of peeked out to see if somebody was still there or like what was going on so I could like get ready. Nothing happens. I hear two men. I don't know if it was two men. It sounded like two men, but it also could have been one man who was like talking on the phone or to himself or something. And he was just kind of laughing. But again, I don't know if that had anything to do with me because it was in German and I don't speak German. So whatever. I'm like, okay. I close the door. It is locked. Like the door is locked. I'm literally locked inside the apartment. So I close it again. And then I wait a little bit. And I open the door again just to make sure. And I immediately messaged the host like, hey, I need to file a complaint. Like, how was somebody able to open my door while I'm here? I didn't ask for any housekeeping. Like, I need you to check the cameras. I don't feel safe. We may need to call the police. Like, what's going on? They finally get back to me after a few hours. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry this happened. Yes, we'll check the cameras and we'll let you know. And then they get back to me again. Mind you, this is like another hour has passed. I'm just sitting here. If I was like a massive overthinker or like had a lot of anxiety or whatever, I would have been freaking out. But I'm just sitting there like in silence because I'm like, is somebody gonna come back? Like grabbing a knife, grabbing my, like having stuff ready, just in case if somebody literally is gonna come back with more people to try to unalive me. So yeah, they finally get back to me. They tell me, oh, we're so sorry. We looked and it was one of our housekeepers that opened your door by mistake because they got the apartment wrong.
Wow.
So I'm like, that's unacceptable, obviously. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't feel safe. And I said it multiple times, and this type of property, they don't use WhatsApp for like foreigners or whatever. So I wasn't able to physically talk to someone unless it was like booking.com because that's how I booked the apartment or whatever. And quite frankly, I spent way too much money here for y'all to be making mistakes. Because there were other people in the building that I have saw through passing that seems like foreigners, or at least they recognized that I was a foreigner. And I know I wasn't the only person who was doing like a booking.com or like Airbnb type of thing. I'm like, okay, well, I don't feel safe, so I'm leaving. Literally that night, I had already pre-booked my my transportation. I was taking the train out to my next destination, and I had already pre-booked and paid for my accommodation for my next destination. And mind you, it was at the end, it was like a week away. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna feel comfortable here anymore after that, because if y'all could just keep making mistakes, when have you made a mistake before? Have you walked in on my apartment while I'm sleeping? I didn't know. Like, no. That type of mistake is truly, it's not okay. And on top of that, it is actually against booking.com's community guidelines to invade others' privacy. And the lady or man or whoever it was didn't even knock. So I did report them to booking.com, and they did kind of help me a little bit, but even to this day, it's been almost 2 weeks since that situation happened, and it's still unresolved for the most part. I asked for my reservation to be canceled, so that way if anything happened, you know, for a whole week or whatever in that apartment, then I wouldn't be liable for it. But that host, they just would not get back to me. They would not say any, I mean, they did say stuff to me, but it was like auto responses. Thank you for your patience. We'll get right back to you with an answer. Like, you guys know that I work on a computer for a living, giving auto responses to people for a living. Like, do you think I'm stupid? Because I'm not dumb, okay? And I'm not stupid. And I wasn't born yesterday. And I'm not some... Anyway, so, yep, I canceled that stuff. I quickly found a new Airbnb for my next destination, and I got a ticket literally an hour before it was departing at the train station. So I had to hurry up and pack my things. I found a grocery store that was open on a Sunday, and I got something because I was like, I'm gonna have a nice Sunday dinner because I kind of miss home, and I'm just gonna have a nice little Sunday date with myself. So I had to hurry up and cook the chicken and the mashed potatoes and all that stuff. I had to hurry up and cook that food because I'm not gonna travel with raw poultry. No. So I had to hurry up and cook it. Luckily, I bought Tupperware in London from when I was cooking. So I kept that stuff with me, and like seasonings and stuff like that as I'm like accumulating. So got all that stuff done, quickly packed up all of my things because I unpacked. If I'm staying longer than a week, I'm gonna unpack so I don't have to feel like I'm living in a suitcase. Had to put all that stuff up quickly, make sure the apartment looked as good as it could look. And I left, got a taxi, and they took me to the train station. I had to hurry up and find my platform, and I made it literally in the nick of time. Like, I think it was maybe 5 or 10 minutes before the train pulled up. And I was like, whew. I was sweating because I was anxious, and I was like, dude, I just have to get out of here. Like, at that moment, I wasn't getting my money back. I had just spent more money booking this new ticket. When I canceled and got like a partial refund for some of my other stuff, had to do that stuff, and I just kept telling myself, like, it literally doesn't matter. Like, the money will come back to me. It is already coming back to me. And I tell myself that all the time. And again, during this whole experience, safety is my #1 priority. And I will say it over and over and over again. If you ever feel unsafe in any place, leave. It doesn't matter. Leave in that moment, and everything else, you will have to figure it out. And so I booked the Vienna apartment or whatever. I booked that with a credit card. So I contacted my credit card company about it, and they did give me a partial refund, which is what I requested. Because again, I'm not trying to be unfair. I'm not trying to, you know, finesse the system. I'm trying to get money back from a place that I'm literally not staying in. And the only reason why I'm not staying there is because my safety was compromised. So I left, and I did a look back, and as you can see, I'm in a new destination, which I'll have another video on that soon. So that whole experience, Vienna, I would rate a 2 out of 10. You know what? Nah, I give it a 3 out of 10 because no. So yeah, definitely a 3 out of 10. And it's not just because that experience tainted my view of Vienna, but I would just say how livable it truly is. For me, it wasn't. There's not that much to do. I kept getting stares, and not like crazy, like I'll unalive you stares. It was just weird. Like, and I'm thinking maybe it's my curly hair, maybe it's like my body shape or whatever. I don't know what it was, but I just felt like so many of those people were just staring at me. And they do say Vienna, they're not the nicest people ever. So I just took that with like a grain of salt and just kind of put that on their culture, because they themselves tell everyone that they're just not nice people. They're not trusting people. at all. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. But other than that, in terms of like their like city center, for me, it just wasn't that much to do. It wasn't that much to see. So it wasn't a good destination for me. And I would honestly never return. Ever. I really wanted to go to a Christmas market there because I think that would have been nice. That would have been cool. But it's okay. It wasn't meant for me. I was meant to be in other places and doing other things. So that was my experience in Vienna. And I would say, honestly, I still liked it slightly better than Amsterdam. So that's it. I promise you, I'm okay. I'm safe. I'm fine. The situation was scary and startling, but I didn't let it affect me into my new destination or for the rest of my trip. I'm still gonna be vigilant, and I don't know. I feel like it doesn't matter how much I'm vigilant, something will still always happen. So I'm just not gonna let it affect me, and I'm not gonna be so guarded where I'm not true to myself and I'm not having fun. Yeah, because all the other places, not necessarily scary things happen, but I put myself in situations where something bad could have happened and nothing did. And the fact that this happened in my home and where I was literally doing nothing and I wasn't putting myself in an unsafe situation, and the fact that this happened just shows that it can happen anywhere. So it is what it is. Yeah. Vienna. Woo. And no, I'm not coming home. No, I'm not stopping. Yes, I'm staying. Yes, the trip is still on. That's it. So bye.